It is 0901 hours on the morning of November 10th, 2025, over the deep blue waters of the Caribbean Sea, and the U.S. Navy's Gerald R. Ford Carrier Strike Group, CSG-12, is conducting a routine, high-visibility transit. This is not a scenario of open conflict, but an analytical study in the application of kinetic potential for non-kinetic deterrence, illustrating how technological superiority and procedural precision can prevent escalation.
The core goal is to dissect the sensor-to-sensor engagement between a regional patrol vessel and the most advanced naval combat formation on Earth. The mission profile for the Ford Strike Group was a complex demonstration of established freedom of navigation principles, supported by a layered defense-in-depth doctrine. The center of gravity is the USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, a nuclear-powered supercarrier displacing nearly 102,000 long tons.
When fully loaded, her revolutionary design includes the Electromagnetic Aircraft Launch System, EMALS, and the Advanced Arresting Gear, AAG, which together allow for a 25% increase in sortie generation rate. Compared to her predecessors, a fact that underpins the entire group's overwhelming capability, the critical outer ring asset is the E-2D Advanced Hawkeye, AEW&C, circling at 28,000 feet, providing constant surveillance via its AN-APY-9 radar system. This radar, operating in the ultra-high frequency UHF band, is specifically tuned to detect stealth features and low observable threats, offering a surveillance picture unmatched regionally. The comm was first broken inside the Ford's Combat Direction Center, or CDC, a sprawling subterranean hub humming with computing power. The initial contact, Track Sierra 84, appeared on the CEC Common Operational Picture.
The faint blip was registered at a range of 38 nautical miles. Crucially, its speed vector immediately indicated hostility, or at minimum, aggressive intent. The vessel, later confirmed as a Venezuelan Guayquerí class patrol vessel, a Buque de Vigilancia Litoral, BVL, pushed its turbines from a standard patrol speed of 12 knots to 22 knots in under 120 seconds, a clear violation of disciplined navigation near a foreign naval formation. The immediate escort response came from the Arleigh Burke-class Flight 2A guided missile destroyer USS Gravely, DDG-107. The Gravely's AN/SPY-1DV air and surface search radar painted a clearer picture, confirming the aggressive heading. The Gravely's commanding officer initiated the screening ship protocol, a calculated high-speed lateral shift to interpose the destroyer between the contact and the CVN-78's 4 o'clock.
Position. The Gravely, a 9,200-ton steel sentinel, positioned herself as a shield, capable of absorbing or countering any kinetic action. The first line of defense was the standardized, non-escalatory three-part radio hail, delivered first on the international bridge-to-bridge frequency, then repeated on military coordination channels. All warnings were met with radio silence and an unwavering course hold, transitioning the contact status from non-compliant to potentially hostile. Escalation proceeded to the sensor level. The Guayquerí activated its older Soviet-era MR-302 Rubka surface search radar. A faint, low-power pulse swept across the formation. This was immediately logged by the Ford's AN/SLQ-32V electronic warfare suite, a system capable of detecting, identifying, and geolocating hostile electromagnetic emissions. The pulse was categorized as an electronic provocation. Deliberate but non-fire control, staying below thresholds for activation of defensive weapon systems like the Gravely's ANPY-1D radar or the Ford's Phalanx CIWS. The instruction from the Gravely CIC was precise. Maintain barrier. Log all emissions. Do not light up fire control radar. The objective was to force the Venezuelan vessel to commit the first act of definitive hostility, validating a proportional response under international law.
At 0947 hours, with the patrol vessel CPA tightening, the Ford's tactical action officer decided to project overwhelming kinetic potential into the airspace. Dynamic Presence Projection, DPP. The command was given, Launch 2. On Cats 2 and 3, two FA-18E Super Hornets thundered down the catapults. Acceleration forces approached 4.5 G as EMALs hurled them from 0 to 165 knots in under 2 seconds. Their mission was spectral dominance, not engagement.
The Hornets climbed to 12,000 feet, establishing a cap perimeter. Crucially, they employed their ANP-APG-79 AESA radar in passive mode, receiving only, absorbing the Venezuelan emissions without revealing their own positions. This look-down, listen-down posture transformed the airspace into an American digital domain. Supporting this, the MH-60R Seahawk lifted off the Ford's deck, speeding low across the sea surface, masked by wave height. It took position off the Waquere's port beam. Its primary sensor payload, the AN-AAS-44MTS, provided advanced EO/IR capabilities, resolving fine details from 5 nautical miles away. The Seahawk operator scanned the deck. Thermal analysis confirmed a heat bloom around the forward 76mm gun mount, unmanned but recently warmed, suggesting hydraulic checks or pre-warming. The operator then deployed a non-lethal, eye-safe green laser pulse.
Visible only to personnel on the vessel's bridge, the message, "We see you. Every action is recorded with precision." Visual and thermal data confirmed crew anxiety. Visible gripping of railings, unsettled posture, heightened tension. The turning point arose from the USS Gravely's unyielding presence. At a 1.8 nautical mile CPA, the destroyer's CO ordered a defensive angulation maneuver. The sharp turn hurled a massive bow wave across the Guayquerí's path. Hydrodynamics dictated the outcome. Displacement of 9,200 tons creates a wave force smaller vessels must obey or risk damage. It was a non-kinetic blockade. Continue forward and collide with superiority, or deviate. At 0959 hours, psychological and electronic pressure peaked. The Hornets dropped from 12,000 feet to roughly 700 feet AGL. Still non-lethal, but imposing. They executed a coordinated high-speed close pass over the patrol vessel. Jet wash rolled across the deck, acoustic, physical, undeniable. A Venezuelan sailor stumbled, composure fracturing. This disruption preceded the electronic failure. The Ford's AN/SLQ32/V logged a sudden erratic frequency jump. A panicked manual adjustment attempt by the Guayquerí's radar operator. Then the decisive act. A Hornet fired a 3-second ANPG-79 AESA active pulse. Not targeting, just power. It saturated the analog radar, blinding it momentarily. Contact reducing speed, the Hawkeye operator reported from 28,000 feet. The patrol ship began shedding knots, 27, 24, 21. Its vector finally drifted off the straight, aggressive approach, signaling the first signs of retreat. The Ford maintained its unwavering pace, engines humming with the calm inevitability of overwhelming mass. Gravely held her screening position,
having forced a course correction without a single weapon fired. Pure procedural dominance.
The Super Hornets climbed back to high-altitude cap, restoring the threat environment to baseline surveillance. At 10:12 hours, resolution arrived. A scratchy radio call from the Venezuelan ship. United States vessel, we are adjusting course. No apology, just concession. Psychological and technological overmatch had achieved its purpose. The strike group did not pursue. The Ford simply continued along the planned route as Gravely widened back to her doctrinal screening radius. The confrontation ended quietly, yet definitively, a recorded defeat of the aggressor's tactical intent. Every datum was logged. Radar spikes, engine strain, thermal anomalies, visual cues of crude disorder, and the final course alteration. All stored by the MH-60R's mission recorder and the E-2D's APY-9 radar. The enduring lesson? Integrated deterrence. The 100,000-ton supercarrier's mass, the destroyer's hydrodynamic barrier, the Seahawk's optical vigilance,
and the Super Hornet's electronic warfare dominance functioned as a seamless system. The challenge was neutralized without kinetic fire, replaced by density of capability, precision of execution, and coordination bordering on the absolute. Challenging a modern carrier strike group is not a matter of proximity. It is a confrontation with a system engineered to exploit every vulnerability, technical, psychological, procedural, with swift, overwhelming, non-lethal power.
The future of naval confrontation rests entirely on control of physical and electromagnetic space. In this encounter, the Ford Strike Group demonstrated total control. Calm, unblinking, and unmistakably superior in every domain. A reminder that the most advanced military formations wield deterrence not just through firepower, but through mastery of every spectrum: air, sea, electronic, psychological, ensuring escalation never becomes necessary.
Every sensor, every platform, every maneuver combined into a single coordinated doctrine of control. The Venezuelan patrol vessel's aggressive intent was nullified without a shot fired, leaving the strike group unchallenged. The USS Gerald R. Ford, CVN-78, maintained its nuclear-powered momentum, a nearly 102,000-ton behemoth, embodying technological innovation, EMALS, AAG, and all systems synchronized for unmatched operational tempo.
USS Gravely, DDG-107, had acted as the physical shield, interposing itself and leveraging hydrodynamic principles. The MH-60R Seahawk provided optical and thermal verification of crew behavior, enhancing situational awareness. The FA-18E Super Hornets demonstrated non-lethal aerial dominance, using AESA radar passively and momentary active pulses to saturate and confuse the patrol vessel's outdated radar, asserting electronic control.
E-2D Advanced Hawkeye maintained broad area surveillance, linking all platforms into a single common operational picture, ensuring the strike group's awareness was unmatched and decision-making precise and preemptive. All actions were logged for post-mission analysis, providing a detailed, verifiable record of deterrence. Each electronic, kinetic, and psychological measure contributed to overwhelming the adversary without escalation.
The USS Gerald R. Ford Strike Group exemplified integrated deterrence, seamless coordination of mass, speed, sensors, and electronic warfare. Control of the environment, not violence, secured the mission and demonstrated modern naval supremacy.